Hello and welcome to the Gooner Tool. Back again with you guys for another show, for another episode of our Tactical Breakdown series, the show in which we look at players in a statistical and analytical way. It has been a long time since I've done this specific intro for this show, because the last time we did this was back in the summer. This is the show that you're new to the channel. Every time Arsenal get linked with a brand new player leading up to one of either the winter or summer windows, and during them as well, we break them down. We give you guys insight from experts that know what they're talking about, because today's target, in Ianis Stoica, I'll be real, I've not heard one jot about. And so therefore, as I know I'm in the same boat as many of you, we get experts on to tell us all about the player. And today I'm very happy to be doing that. We'll also have more content for you guys around Ianis Stoica over on the Arsenal Way, which is, of course, our channel in association with Reach and Football.London. Link to the channels in the description. I had a chat with Alex Scout Rowe, who is an expert in the field of Romanian football as well. So that will be out at 8 o'clock, I think 8 o'clock p.m. tonight. So make sure you go and check out that piece of content as well. But without further ado, let me introduce to you Philip and Horia, who are part of the Romanian Football Hub, who have been here to tell us all about Ianis Stoica, the young 18-year-old Romanian striker. So let's see what they have to say about the player linked with a move to Arsenal.
Hey everyone, this is Romanian Football Hub with you. My handle on Twitter is RoFootball, and this is Horia with me.
Hello.
Yeah, today we're going to talk about Ianis Stoica. So he's an 18-year-old striker, but he's really adept at any position in the attack. So left winger, right winger, attacking midfielder, he's capable as well. So Horia, what do you think about his best attributes?
To me, I think obviously when you look back on how he's played the last couple of months, I think you need to look at his speed, his hold-up play, and generally how he actually handles situations, because at 18, I think he has above average decision-making for his age, and he scored some important goals for FCSB in Romania, including late equalizer away at Arad and a goal in the extra time against Hunedoara in the cup. I think his best attribute is like having that sense of where to be in certain situations and knowing how to utilize the ball and help his teammates.
Yeah, I was going to say that exactly. His positioning is very good. Like when Budescu gave him a cross, he knew exactly where to be, and he scored a quality goal there. But also the fact that he started at 14 years old, he played in the cup and he scored at that age. I mean, that's some immense pressure from the press when you do that, right? And he's had all the time to kind of, learn from his teammates and grow as a person as well. And I think is important, as well as the fact that he went to Freiburg, I think, for a short time.
He did.
So all these little things from a very young age probably contributed to that. But I would say he's very well-rounded for his age. He's got a good physique. He has good balance, good speed, clever decision-making, and good finishing and technique. Oh, and of course, his dribbling for his stature is quite impressive. So he's a polyvalent player, I would say.
Yeah, and I also wanted to say that I've watched him. I've watched one of his last games. He came on as a sub, and you didn't really feel that he was an 18-year-old coming in. He felt like a mature player that was like 25. Way he held up the ball and how he scared the defense, basically. And also, I think another thing that I like him is the fact that he's the son of former Romanian footballer Pompiliu Stoica, who was a fullback for the club. I think he played for a national team a couple of times. I think that's also important as well, because I think that helped him reach a certain footballing IQ, and it kind of ensures that he has a pretty quiet lifestyle, let's say.
Yeah, I think he was surrounded by the right people early on, and that also helped, but he's also quite naturally gifted, I would say.
Yeah.
So they're good combination. I think after this season, if he continues as he is, he'll probably want to move abroad for sure in the summer. Because in Liga 1 right now, the level is not great as it was 10 years ago. But yeah, if he wants to keep growing, I think he'll need to move this summer.
Yeah, and I think that, playing from such a young age as he is doing, even at a lower level, I think it's gonna do him and his career the world of good, because he's gonna grow and mature into a good player. And I think that Arsenal are renowned for how they nurture young talents into, starters, let's say, and important players for their club.
They give them chances and they have a very good development.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the under they have is quite impressive.
Yeah, because
especially
go on.
I was just saying, especially in midfield. Although, with the Kırcan situation, we hope he comes back soon too. Would be great to have 2 Romanians at Arsenal.
Yeah, and generally, I think if you look at players like Martinelli, who was signed from Brazil, from the lower divisions of Brazil, I think Stoica can follow in his footsteps and become an important player for Arsenal in the future.
A massive thank you to Philip and to Horio, of course, as well, from the Romanian Football Hub. You can actually go and follow them both at RO Football, spell FTBL on Twitter. And you can follow Horio as well at Mount Prodigy. Although I do warn you, he is a Chelsea fan. Just letting you know. But some really good stuff and insight from the boys. And a massive, that's the first for the channel. 2 lads having a chat about this on live air, and then throwing it towards us to get the insight. I like this format. I think it's good. It works. Do give the guys plenty of love in the comment section and thank them for their expertise, because without them, we certainly wouldn't have the expert insight towards us. So without further ado, let's look into the player in a little bit more detail. We've had our expert insight. We're then going to go on to the statistical focus, and then we'll have a bit of a conclusion. So I'm going to drop down to the bottom left-hand corner of your screens as we now go through some comparisons. Now, of course, as an 18-year-old striker, what I thought would be best is to compare him to some of our young strikers at the club, following Balogun, Mika Biereth, and Nikolai Moller. Now, the problem with obviously looking at players of a younger disposition, especially through the statistical analysis that's available, is that not all of the games are out there are available for comparison. So just to keep you in the know, do take the statistics with an element of a pinch of salt. I do let you know how many games have been analysed from this season. They're across all competitions that they've played in, but Stoica has been looked at the 17 games he's played in 840 minutes. Balogun has played 13 games across the games that have been analysed with 504. Biereth, 9 over 651 minutes. And Moller, 8 games and 460 minutes. I believe that Moller and Stoica, we've got all the data for them, but Biereth and Balogun, because they've been playing, of course, for the youth side, there is a little bit of a fall away there. So let's go straight on to the goals per 90 and XG. Now, this tells us quite a bit about how reliable they are as strikers. How do their goals every single game per 90 minutes relate to their expected goals? Are they outperforming their XG? If so, that tends to show that they are on the rise and doing really, really well, though not in all cases. But as you can see, 0.75 goals per 90 for Stoica against a 0.62 XG shows that he is outperforming what he is expected to have achieved with the shots that he's taking. Balogun, you look at ever so slightly underneath, but still a really good output at 0.71 goals per 90 with a 0.75 XG. Biereth, slightly lower and hasn't performed to the level of Balogun as you would expect. Moller has been very, very poor since moving to Victoria Colony. He has suffered with injuries, and there is that to add to his game, and you have to think about that when you consider the context. But so far, hasn't got into too many shooting positions, as you'll see here. Looking at the shots that have been taken, Balogun averages 3.93 shots per 90, which is really, really positive. And they're done from different areas, a lot from inside the box, and that's where the most of his goals have come from when you look at the ones that have been analysed. However, you would have seen plenty of strikes from Balogun that have gone on your social feeds that came from outside the box, especially in one of the most recent games. If we have a look at though, Ianis Stoica, 2.25 shots per match, per 90 rather, 61.9% of those hitting the target, which is our second highest accuracy on the board. Moller, again, not having the best of seasons, as you can see there. And Mika Biereth, 2.07, 46.7% of those hitting the target. Touches in the box. He does like to get into the box, of course, as a striker, but can play in other positions. 4.39 touches in the box there. Balogun 5.71, and Biref following in with a third place 4.01 to Moller's 3.91. Then looking at the dribbles and how they are technically on the ball. Now, this is where I kind of go into the realms of going into my theory about playing Balogun slightly off of the main striker. He loves to be on the ball. 5.71 dribbles per game with a 53.1% success rate is really strong from him. Stoica, more successful with his dribbling, 58.8%, but doesn't dribble anywhere near as much. Only 1.82. Moller, not very successful at all with the dribbles that he's getting involved with. Offensive duels, as you would expect, the duels that happen in kind of the offensive third and the attacking third of the pitch when they're on the ball, holding players off. 6.54 offensive duels per 90 for Stoica with a win rate of 34.4%. Balogun actually doesn't come out as well in this area in terms of success rate, but gets involved in far more offensive duels. 20.71 is a crazy amount of offensive duels to be analysed across those games that we've looked at. Biref, 39.2% is the highest return rate and does very well physically when on the ball. Biref, surprisingly, considering his very tall frame, only winning 18.5% of his offensive duels. Aerial duels, though, as you would expect, Moller being the tallest here, does come out as the best, 32% of those being won, 4.89 aerial duels being attempted. Stoica, though, does not shy away from taking those aerial duels, 3 per 90 being recorded with a 25% win rate is better than Balogun, but Biref coming out slightly better in both frequency and success rate. Looking at the passing, Stoica's passing accuracy is the lowest of the bunch, but isn't lowest in terms of frequency. That goes to Moller. But Moller does have the best link-up play from a passing perspective with an 86.4% success rate. But talking about how effective the passing can be and how direct it is, Moller doesn't tend to do much link-up into the box. He prefers to be the target man that's inside it. Balogun comes out alongside Biref with a very positive 75 and 80% between the two of them. And whilst the 63.6% for Stoica isn't the highest, 1.18 passing to the box does show that he's more of a striker that prefers to be doing the work in the box rather than linking up play from outside of it. And that, as we went on there to an Onana tactical breakdown for, wow, that's a while ago that we've looked at that. But you can look at the statistics and you can see that he's a very capable player in comparison to the players for the data that we've got available. But in kind of conclusion to the player, I do look at Ianis Stoica as someone that I think that the club is looking at based upon the analytics and what the data is telling them. And they don't want to miss out on someone that's clearly got a lot of talent about him. They got this, they've looked at Romanian players in the past. We've got one, Catalan Kurjan. We've had one in Igor Dragomir as well. And Karim Adeyemi, who has been linked with the club, is half Romanian himself. So there is a lot of kind of interesting links to Romanian football at Arsenal, and perhaps they're about to increase their cohort with the signing of Ianis Stoica. The information that we have regarding the player from a transfer point of view is that the Football Club Steaua Bucharest owner, Gigi Bucali, has said that Arsenal supposedly tabled a 7.5 million euro offer. He wants 10 million euros with a 20% sell-on clause. Whether or not this is even true is still very much up in the air because there's been no confirmation from the English side of things. Only from Romanian media have we heard this, and from him himself, although he could be looking to try and garner interest in the player. So you've always got to take that context into account. But I want to know from you guys what you think about Ianis Stoica. Is he a player that you would like to see Arsenal sign? Can you see him earning a place in the Arsenal first team? Or do you think there's already too much attacking talent in the likes of Mika Biref and, of course, following Balogun for him to get into the team? Let me know in the comment section below. Do drop a like on the video and share it around to your friends so they can become educated as well on who Ianis Stoica exactly is. And, of course, do go check out the additional information which you can find over on the Arsenal Way and my chat with Alex Scout Rowe, another Romanian football expert that I learn a lot more about Ianis Stoica and even more detail. So loads more content for you to consume. Do enjoy it. Do drop a like. Do subscribe. And as always, up the Arsenal.